Hello and welcome to the video for interactive design for Tuesday, October 13th. Let me go ahead and let some people in from the waiting room.
Computer audio.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello. How you guys doing? Hi, James.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing alright. Just currently waiting on the Smash Ultimate character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Hi, guys. How are you? How are you doing, Spike?
Hi.
Hi, Livia. How was life in Panama City?
Cool.
You look like the giant woman. Did you ever see the
Yes, like 50 movies.
Yeah, that like the 50
The Invasion of the Giant Women, something like that.
Yeah, no. Let me find this poster. 50-foot woman. Oh yeah, here it is. Let me share my screen here. Here we go, Olivia. Attack.
Yes, exactly. That was the one that I remember. I like the colors of the poster.
The poster is awesome. Look at this.
Yes.
Look at this scene from the movie though, with the woman here, like, you know, bigger than the electric tower. That's kind of funny. I've never actually seen this movie. Maybe I need to.
Me neither. Me neither. But I want to see that.
This looks like this is a remake. Oh no, wait. This has Daryl Hannah. Maybe it's a joke. Oh, I went too far. Look, Daryl Hannah. I don't know if that's a joke or if it's a game or something. By Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, Microsoft. I don't know. Oh, look, here's a model.
Oh.
I don't know why it keeps going too far. Look at that. I like how she has the little guy, you know? Like she's like, I'm just going to squeeze your head off, buddy. That's really cool.
I like that.
All right, well, enough sci-fi. Let's see.
I love sci-fi.
Yeah, can there ever really be enough sci-fi? That's the question. Here's a cute one. I like that take on that. Oh, wait, look at this one. This one looks like it was much.
Oh, it's German.
Yeah, like the flappers in the 1920s.
In the 20s.
Yeah, I was going to say 1920s.
Look at this one. This one looks like somebody who kind of redid it in a more modern sense.
Wait, but that's April O'Neil, I think. I don't know. It's just my imagination.
Look at this one, Attack of the 50-Foot Carhartt Woman. Here's another one. That's kind of interesting. That's more graphic designy. Wow, it's funny. You can get so much mileage out of this one film.
Yeah. I have to watch that movie.
Here's another take on it. Yeah, I know. It would probably be worth watching it, huh?
Yes.
Here's a couple more designs.
Oh, there is a new one. It's like anime. The anime style.
Yeah, 7 Deadly Sins. Is
that what it is?
And yeah. Yeah, my ex watched that anime. I haven't yet.
Oh, look at this. This is an all-plastic assembly kit.
Oh.
It's like a model of the 50-foot.
Uh-huh.
There's a Simpsons take on it. Boy, this is definitely this is definitely a cultural touchstone, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Katy Perry. That's cute, huh? Carrie Fisher. Oh, they have her in her metal bikini from Star Wars.
Oh yes.
I wonder if the 50-foot woman today, I wonder if she'd be like a Karen. You know what I mean? Like a giant Karen that would come and ask to see your manager or something like that. Okay, here we go. This will be the last one. Okay. All right. I'm glad we got all that taken care of. All right. Now let's see. Let me go back to the class website here. Don't tell me. It's gotta be here. Okay. Interactive design. All right. So let's see who's here. These guys are here. So Spike, are you still working on your presentation?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. All right, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a tutorial today. And then, but before we do that, does anybody have any work that they've done on their Halloween project that they want to share with us or get some feedback from? We got
I
time.
have something.
Okay.
Wait
Livia,
first.
okay, and you too, James. Livia,
Wait first.
is yours in your folder?
Yes.
Okay, let me go and find that.
The name is Halloween Kit.
Okay, let's see. Where the heck am I? I want to be in here. No, that's wrong. I want to be in here. Okay, here we go. So Olivia,
Halloween Kit.
I see Halloween project.
Mm,
Okay, hold on. I'm going into the specific goal. Halloween kit.
yes. Is the division that I'm going to make of my ad is going to have tabs, and is the content that is going to be in the different tabs.
Okay, so you're gonna have tabs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is tab 1, which would be this right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then there would be the main animation. There'd be a, you know, different ways that you could pay, and then a buy now button there.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So the client is Haunting Moments. The campaign is Halloween Pandemic Party Kit, and the media is a website. Okay. All right, and then tab 2 would be the kit content. That's kit content animation. Haunting Moments logo. This is the size of your ad. Here's the third tab. Premium add-ons. Show and select different people cutout options. Okay. All right. What do you guys think? Is this clearly communicate what she's going to do? Yeah.
Yeah. I have a question though.
Yeah.
Can you explain what a Halloween kit is, Livia?
Oh yes. Is I have to open the file. Oh, can you open the file? Is the Halloween project PDF, please?
Okay, I got it. I got it open.
Okay, I don't have the. Okay, I have. Is the content that is the Halloween teacher? It's like having a party in your house alone.
Yeah. Now I remember.
Okay, yeah, because there was this one, and then there was Trevor's where he has like I think fake friends or something, or maybe a Halloween party for a few friends. Trevor, what's the what are the details of yours? Okay, I see Trevor has a question in here. Hey Greg, I have a question. I downloaded some MP4 video files to put into my ad on Animate, and they won't load. What file format can I change it to so I can import them into Animate? Let's see, MP4 won't load, huh? Let's see. Well, let's see, Trevor, I'll answer your question in just a sec, but can you answer this one for me? What's the difference between your project and Livia's? I thought yours was like that you had multiple people. That it was like, was it fake friends? Let's see, is his fake friends? Do you remember that? Yeah, rent a friend. Okay, that's what it is. His is fake friends, and yours is a party for one, Livia?
Yes, the add-on, the premium add-ons are the cutouts of real size people that you can buy and
Okay.
fake that you have a lot of friends and
Okay.
having fun alone.
You could put them up in front of the window so it looks like there's silhouettes of people. And
Yes.
play a record
And
that
also take
sounds like people
selfies.
having a party. That sounds like my life. Okay. All right, cool. No, Trevor, you can't actually try Wave. Wave is a music file format. Let me try let me see some. We imported a video in a tutorial, I think it was last week when we did that car thing. Let me see, and I remember that there were two formats, one worked and one didn't. Let me go back to that and see what format that was. So I'm going to go to the class website, go back to last week. Let's see, using HTML components. I just threw that away from my computer. All right, but let me click Get Files, because I remembered we weren't able to. Oh, I know. I think I know what it was. I think it didn't let me import the MOV, but it let me import the MP4, because I went and got this girl with the dark hair. Yeah, let me see what format she came in. If I went to VidEasy, and I got a girl with dark hair. Yeah, so I got one of these, and let me see what format it downloads in. Free download. Okay, and then, hey, what happened? Are you downloading or what? Downloads. Why is it just showing that? Free, now I have to click free download? I thought it started already. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, now, come on, download. Damn you. Okay, yeah, MP4. Yeah, MP4 should work. Here, I'll show you an example. So we're gonna save this girl with the dark hair. Dark-haired girl. Let me put her somewhere easy to find. I'll put her on the desktop. Okay, so then what you do is you go into Adobe Animate. We can create a new file. It doesn't really matter what size it is. Well, let's get something. Well, they're all kind of crappy sizes. I'll hit create. Okay, now what you should be able to do is import the file. So file, import to library. Now this is exactly what we did last week. So let me try this again. So we go to girl with dark hair, dark-haired girl. Okay, all right. So you're right. So, okay. So this is what happened. Yeah, you try to bring in. See, it says right here, all openable formats, and it's not letting MP4 come in. So this is what you experienced, right? Now let me try all files, and it still won't let me bring it in. Okay, great. So yeah, you're right. That was that didn't happen. However, there is a way that you can make this happen, and I'll show you what it is. What you have to do, Trevor, is you have to keep the file outside of your Flash file, but inside the same folder as your project, and then you have to put a link to it. So let me show you what I mean. So if I go to my desktop here, which is surprisingly clean for once, we'll go ahead and we'll say new folder, and I'll just call this like movie project, right? Okay, now what you do is you take your video, you put it in there, right? Now I'm going to go ahead and save my animation in that same folder. So I'm going to go to my movie project, and I'm just Untitled 2 FLA. Fine. Okay. Now, last week we used the components to play a movie. So you can do window, components, right? And what you do is you grab the video component and you drag it onto your thing here. Now, obviously my file size is kind of small, so I can go under modify document and make my file much bigger. So I'll make it like, you know, 500 by 500. Okay. All right. So now what happened, I drag my video component on there, right? Now what you do is go over here to source and you click on this little pencil, and then you go ahead and find the video. And so in this case, it would be the dark-haired girl, right? You click on that and then you hit open and you hit OK. All right, so now it's got that video source is that. Now you can do things like you can have it autoplay, you can have the controls be on or off. Let me take my controls off and I'll have it autoplay. And then when we just test it out, it plays the video, okay? Now, you know, if I want, and she's like, of course it plays the video. What are you thinking? Okay, now if I wanted it to be a little different, I could take autoplay off and put the controls in. And now I can test it. So now you have the controls, and now you can hit the play button and play the video or pause it down here. You've got all your controls. You can hit full width and all that kind of stuff, right? Okay, so that is one way to get a video in MP4 format. Let's see. Trevor says, thanks, I'll try that. It's saying in Animate when I try to import them that it can't read the files. Yeah, I got that too. I wanted to play the video, then go into the rest of my ad. How would I go about doing that? Okay, that's easy. So this is what you would do. Well, first of all, let me think. Yeah.
Hey, I'm having the same trouble with my video and I want mine to play in the background. Just throwing that out there.
Okay, so let me start with his and then we'll go to yours. So he wants his video to play and then he wants it to move on to the rest of the animation, right? Now let's see if we can set that up in this little sample that I have here. So what we'll do, we'll go to the timeline here, and in frame 1, we'll, you know, it's got this video in it, obviously. He wants it to autoplay. He probably doesn't want any controls, so we'll turn that off. Okay, now this thing is going to autoplay. Now, there's a couple ways I'm thinking we could do this. One is we could try to figure out how long the video is. And then, let's see, let's take loop off as well. Or it might just be, you know what it might just be? I'm curious to see what will happen here. Let me make a second frame. So I'm going to click here in the second frame. I'm going to click here to make another keyframe. And then let's see, actually, I don't want another keyframe. I want just a blank keyframe. Insert blank keyframe. All right, so now, wait, what happened to my first one? Okay, good, all right. So now what I'm gonna do in the second keyframe here, or second in the blank keyframe after my first one, is I'm just gonna write, you know, welcome to frame 2. All right, so I'm going to experiment with something here. I'm going to see, first of all, if it will play everything in frame 1 and then move on to frame 2, or if it will just automatically switch over to frame 2. Now, in frame 1, I'm going to have to insert a keyframe. And then frame 2 has this. Now, I'm going to put this down here at the bottom so that if it just keeps playing the video and goes to the second frame, we'll see it. Now look at this. Why does it have all this time in here? I didn't plan on that. I might have just screwed up here. Let me remove some frames. Okay. All right, so this is the experiment. We're going to see if it will play the video entirely and then move on to frame 2. Or we're going to see if it will play the video and then just keep running along the timeline. If it does that, we'll see that text show up right away. Let's see, text movie in browser. Oh, wow. Well, it's showing that, but it's not even playing my freaking movie anymore. All right, let's see. So what happened to my damn movie? Delete. Okay, let's try this again. So there's a blank keyframe. We drop the video component in there up at the top. For the source, we tell it that it is, the source, we tell it that it's this MP4. And we hit open and we say, okay. Now, when we do control test movie in browser. Oh yeah, okay, so I know exactly what's happening. It's playing the whole timeline. It won't stop on that first frame, right? So what we need to do is we need to put in an action layer here. And we need to have it stop on the first frame. So we would go window, actions. We would open our code snippets by clicking on this little button. We're in HTML5 canvas, so we'd open that up. We'd open timeline navigation, and we double click stop at this frame. Now what that means is it's gonna go ahead and play the animation, but it won't automatically go to the next frame. It'll play the animation until it's done, but then there'll be nothing you know, that takes you to the next frame. Now, one possibility is, this was the second possibility that I was thinking of, was if we could figure out how long the video is, we might be able to drop that many frames in and then have the thing happen afterwards. So let's see, I'm gonna try and time this video. So let's see, timing, clock, timer. Okay, here we go. Wait, stopwatch, that's what we want. Clear, reset, okay. So I'm gonna watch this video. Actually, maybe it says on the website where we got it, how long it was. Let's see. It says 24 frames per second, but it doesn't say how long it is. Well, I guess I could just time it, right? Oh, here it is. Let's see. What is that? Let's see. Play. Looks like 5 seconds. Yeah, 5 seconds. Okay. Now, let's go back in here. Let's see if we can get this to work. So this is 30 frames per second times 5 seconds is 150 frames, right? So what we could do, we could take the stop animation, we could take the stop action off of this. We can take this little second frame here, which says welcome to frame 2, and we can move that bad boy down to like frame 151 or something like that. Here, let's go 155 just to give it a little extra time there. All right, now this first frame, which has the movie in it, lasts for a little longer than 5 seconds. And then we go to the welcome to frame 2. And let's have that be a few seconds long too, so that we can at least see it, you know, show up and it won't just completely disappear. So that's now a few seconds long too. So now let's see what happens. Just movie in browser. Okay, here's the girl. She's going to hang out. Hello, what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, it's looping. We didn't want it to loop. Oh, and then it goes to the welcome to. Okay, it worked. Okay, so let's see. I guess I have to make sure I don't have my looping on. I don't think it did loop though. It just did some weird thing. Oh yeah, the looping was on. Okay. All right, let me try it one more time. This should work perfectly or close to perfectly. Okay, so we built in enough time for the movie to play. So we're gonna have 5 seconds of this girl. It's not looping. And then she's done and boom, we go to welcome to frame 2. Okay, so, and of course the whole movie loops because that's the default when you go into the publishing file, publish settings, it's set to loop. So you could turn that off and publish it without it looping.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
In the action script, when you're doing the stop at this frame, is it 1 for stop at this frame?
Oh, you mean the actual frame number?
Yeah, like.
No, the very first frame in HTML5 is 0.
Okay, so it's like stop at this frame 0.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't use, when you do stop at this frame, it just puts in the word stop. Let me show you.
Oh, okay.
If I go back here to my actions layer and I double click stop at this frame, let me open up my actions window again. Okay, watch what happens when I click stop at this frame. Double click stop at this frame. And then, okay, yeah, so it just says this stop and it's got parentheses in there, but you don't put in like, you don't put in a frame number or anything. It just literally stops on that frame.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, now Latisse, your thing, you want to have a picture playing in the background, a movie playing in the background, right?
Yes, I want it to be like my background itself. So I just made a folder with the movie in it and a document.
Okay, well, let me show you this. I'm going to take this same document here and just make this movie the background. Is it just going to loop?
Yeah, I would like it to loop.
Okay, so what we're going to do here, I mean, unfortunately, I don't have this the exact size, but it'll be good, close enough. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of that second frame that has the, welcome to frame 2 content in it. I'm going to highlight all that, right click on it and do remove frames. Okay, so now all we have, and then the other thing I can do, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, let's get rid of the stop action.
Okay.
Okay, and now let's click on the movie that we put in with the component and let's loop it and autoplay it and have no controls. Okay, now let's put a new layer above this and we'll say this is the foreground and the layer with the video on it is the background. Now on the foreground layer, we'll put some text just to show that you can, have text happening on top of your movie. This is some text on top of the movie. All right. So this text should sit kind of half on top of, half off of the movie. The movie should play in the background and it should just loop. Now we don't have to have this be anything longer than 1 frame for it to work, but right now it's like as long as the movie and then it just kind of loops. So let's see what happens.
Okay.
Control test movie in browser. Okay, where's my damn movie? Did I turn autoplay off?
I don't know, but you're.
No, autoplay is on. Let's see. What is going on? Let's see. Autoplay, dark-haired, loop. That's all good. And this is on that layer. Huh. It's pretty weird. And there's no stop action in there. It should just loop. It should play. There's some.
I'm gonna add my. How do I add my? Oh, I have to click the pencil. I'm gonna retry to add it on my end and see.
Yeah, you click the pencil. Yeah, click the pencil and then have it go there. Now, let me just try for grins. I don't know why it would do this, but let me kill my foreground layer and see if it wants to play now.
Also, should we match source the dimensions when we drop the video in?
No, you don't have to do that. There's no necessity of that. Okay, well, for some reason, it really didn't like me having a layer on top of the movie. And the second that I got rid of that layer on top of the movie, it started playing for me. Let me think about another possibility. So that's using the video components, but there's also ways to import movies. Let me try a different process here. So this is my MP4. So I'm going to get rid of that movie. I'm going to say, okay, now, first of all, it wouldn't let us import. It would not let us import an MP4 as Trevor discovered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Media Encoder, which comes, which can be downloaded from the Adobe suite of programs to transcode or change the format of the movie to a different format. So I'll change it to like an MOV file or something like that. Now, if I want to see what kind of files it will import, if I can go import to library, it says all openable formats, and you can see the formats here. Let's see.
And my MOV and my MP4 are grayed out. Like I can't select them because I used the media encoder earlier to convert it from an MOV to an MP4 because the MOV wasn't working, but now neither one of them. I just tried dropping it in as a source and it worked when I played it, but it was like this weird size.
Oh, hey, you know what? I think I know what the problem is.
Okay.
I do know what the problem is. The problem is that in HTML5, you have to bring it in using the component because you have to link it as an external file.
Okay.
Okay, because check this out. I'm in HTML5 now, and watch what happens when I go import video is grayed out. Right.
That's
Now check this out. If I make a new file, which is just a Flash format, you know, the sort of FLA format, which we don't want to use because you can't use that on the web. So what I'm going to do now is, let me see if it'll let me create a FLA format. ActionScript 3.0. Okay, here we go. Now, by all rights, this should allow me to import video because it's FLA, right? Now let's see. So now when we go File, Import, yeah, see how import video isn't grayed out? And watch, I'll probably be able to import that MP4. So all I have to do is go Browse, click on, yeah, see, look, it's letting me select, see, look, MOV, MP4. So the problem is that, you know, especially if you guys have used Flash or Adobe Animate before, you might have been aware that it lets you import videos, but that's only in the Flash format, right? And so let me finish this. Okay, it's thinking. Okay, so now, let's see. There she is. There's our big dark-haired lady. Oh, it's a giant file.
Would you just size that using the free transform, or does it?
Yeah, you could. You could. So there it is. It's playing kind of slow or whatever, but yeah. Anyway, so like I said, going back to what I said, you are going to have to use that component feature, and you are going to have to link to the external file.
Okay. Now, when you use the component feature, is there a way to resize your video, or is it just drop in at the size of the canvas?
Yeah, you can resize your videos. So let's go back to my HTML5 canvas file here. Okay, so let me go back to my components. So what you do, you grab your video component and you drag it onto your screen, right? Now, this video component has a position and a size which is indicated right here, 400 by 300, right? Now you can change this video component to whatever size you want. So, you know, let's say I wanted it to be, I don't know, 500 wide. Right now this lock is off, so it's staying 300 tall. But if I clicked on the lock, I could make it so that it would do it proportionally. You know, well, let's just leave it like that, right? Okay, so now if I go get the video by clicking on source and choosing the dark-haired girl, now match source dimensions would make this play at the same size as the actual video, and you almost never want that. You want the video to be the size you want to make it here on the screen. Okay. So I'm going to click OK there. All right, so now when I play this, it should come up at at just this size. And one way to test it is to modify the document and put a background color in there so that we can see if it actually changes that size, right? So control test movie in browser. Yeah, and it does, see?
Okay, I'm testing mine now. Okay, and then I can turn all those. Okay, it's still, my video is really small. Like the stage is larger than the video itself.
Well, you can, like I said, you can change the component size by clicking on the component and changing the size of the component right here.
In the properties? Or?
Yeah, over here in the properties. And
Yeah,
and if your player is bigger, your video should be bigger as long as the video is at least as big, if not bigger than the player.
I made the video in the properties the same size as the canvas, yet when I go to test it, the video is smaller than the stage.
When you say you made the video, you mean you made this video component the same size.
Yeah, in the
Now
properties.
you didn't check match video size when you.
No.
So you said your video is in the folder where I can get to it?
Let me drop this new file that I made in there so that you could see it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Let me just save it real quick.
Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to try and figure out how we can get a layer on top of it.
Yeah, because that's what all my type is supposed to go on top of the video, but if it's not going to work in HTML5, I don't know what to do.
Well, there is one way to do it in, you know, if this were actually going to be on a web page, what you would do is you would literally, on web pages, you can actually do something like layers on web pages. It's called a Z index.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is, you know how there's X, Y, and then Z coming at you? You can take content on web pages and put it on different Z layers. And so in a case like that, you would just have your video be the background Z layer, and then you would have your content be in front of it. Now, how you would do it inside of Adobe Animate is an interesting question, because the second that I put a new layer on top of this and put any kind of text on it at all, it screwed up and didn't show my video.
Okay, I dropped that test video or that file into my folder. I don't know if you have time. Maybe my dimensions are wrong.
Oh, it actually did. It actually worked.
Yeah, that's how mine work. But you see how your stage is blue and goes above the video?
Yeah.
Is there a way for the video to take up the whole canvas, like without the stage showing?
Yeah, just change the size of your stage.
Oh.
So
but then my ad will be shrunken down.
Well, like, okay, if I click on my video component right here, my video is 500 by 300, my component, right?
Right.
So if I go modify document and I make my document 500 by 300, okay, then I should be able to grab my video and just drop it in there so it takes up the whole movie, right?
Okay, so just go ahead.
Let me take my text and let me make it white. Let's see. Are you white yet? Yes, you're white. Okay. Control test movie. Now it looked like it went behind the video. Yeah, it did. It went behind the video. I still have a little blue on the top and the bottom. So clearly I'd have to make my stage a little less high.
Okay.
And it looks like the video is automatically goes to the top of the layer stack. And so things go behind it. Let me see if I can make my document a little less high. So instead of 300, how about I make my document 280 high? Okay, and now.
Will it let you drop that video to back down to the bottom?
What do you mean back down to the bottom?
So that your text will reveal?
You mean like, oh, I see what you're saying. You mean like have a document that's tall enough that you could put your text up here?
Well, like how you have this is text and it's supposed to be on top of the video, but it's not when we test it.
Yeah.
Is there a way to make sure that your text or your copy is on top without the video like taking over?
That I don't know. We're gonna have to look that one up. So let's see.
Okay.
Video goes to top.
You know what, Livia? Are you here, Livia? Because she had a video playing in her background on the last one with text.
You may have made
Yes.
that in like Adobe Animate or something. or,
Yes, I'm
After
here.
Effects.
Hi, do you, Livia? Did you drop your video to the? Did it allow you to make a separate text layer? How'd you get your video to play at on the bottom?
I linked the video like Greg did, but
Mhm.
this software Animate is a little tricky to work with videos. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work.
Okay.
What I do is I do that part first, and if it works, I save immediately that, because later if I have to come back, maybe I can get it. But I linked the video just like Greg did, and when I linked the video, the first time you did, Greg, you see that it add some frames. Those frames that add are the length of the video. You erase that, just leave it. I don't know if you remember the first time you did it.
Yeah, I remember when he erased those.
Yes, it put the frames of the length of the video. You have to bring the most easy way to do it is if the video is really short. It works fine when the video is really short.
Okay.
If the video is long, I don't know what happened with, it's very tricky.
Okay.
But I linked the video.
All right. I don't, that's stressing me out, Greg.
Well, let's see. I found this one. You know how I was talking about that Z index thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's from a couple of years ago. This guy, he says if you put this code in here, it might work, but I don't know if I trust him. But let's try it out. So it says go to document properties and set the background color to full transparency. Okay. I don't trust him because of the way I don't like his smile. No, I'm kidding.
I don't trust him either.
Modify document. Okay, now we want to set the background to full transparency. So
Okay.
it doesn't matter what color we pick. We would just simply go for the alpha. We would click on that and we would set it to 0. Okay, so that gives you a fully transparent background.
Okay.
Next, he's saying to put these 2 pieces of code in the very first frame, and then we'll see what happens with that. So first we'll put this piece of code. So we'll go into, we got an actions layer here. We'll open our actions, window actions. We'll put in that first piece of code. And then we'll go back and grab that second piece of code. All right. Now, theoretically, let's see what he says. He says you can put these codes in the first frame of the main timeline. Let's see what happens. Control test movie in browser. All right.
Yay. Okay. I can't see those codes because they're really small, but.
You have $1?
Can you drop them in the chat or on the website or something?
For $1? Okay.
Okay, I have $1 and change.
All right, you're going to remember to make the background fully transparent though, right?
Yeah, I have my background fully transparent. Do I still need to adjust the document size then?
Well,
make it smaller?
Let's not worry about the document size right now.
Okay.
Here's your code in the chat. So what you have to do is make a new layer, call it actions, and make a blank keyframe in the very first frame.
Got that.
Okay, open up your actions window and paste that code in there. Now, by the way, while we're doing this, let me read what he says.
I didn't get the code, Greg.
It's right here in the. It says for me to everyone in waiting room. Why is? Oh, I'm sorry. Everyone in meeting. I don't know why it went to everyone in the waiting room. Okay, how about now?
You got it. Okay.
Okay, so while this is happening, so remember what I said about the z-index thing with web pages? Well, he's basically dropping that into the code, and what's happening is when you publish it, it forms a web page, right? And what it does is it takes your video and it takes its z-index and it sets its z-index to you know, a certain number, which I guess is 1. You can see canvas style z-index 1. And then it says optionally disable click events for the canvas if you need to control the video. So, you know, we're turning off the click events. So that means that people can't, when we put this piece of code in, that means people can't click on buttons and things. Now, if you don't need to control the video, you can take that second piece of code out.
Okay, and if we do use the second piece of code, we just drop it in as number 2, right?
Yeah.
On that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can experiment with, you know, I think the way to do it, Latisse, would be to, you know, time your video like I did and make sure there's enough frames for your video to play. And then, well, I guess it doesn't matter. I guess if you want canvas events, you just don't put in that different piece of code, and then you can make buttons that people can click on and stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Which if we want buttons, then we shouldn't put the second code, right? Like if part of our ad has buttons, leave that off.
Yeah, because what it does is it disables click events, which is what those are.
All right, cool.
Now, as far as your size of your video versus the size of the canvas,
Yeah.
the way that I got around that was when I made my video component and my canvas exactly the same size, I still saw a canvas peeking out from above and below, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So what I did, see, my video component here is 300 pixels high, right? What I did was I went into my document and I made it smaller than 300. I made it 280. So in other words, the canvas is a little smaller, which means theoretically it's cutting off a little bit of the top and the bottom of the video. But now I don't see my canvas. So that's what I wanted. Okay,
thank you.
Now, but the other thing, Latisse, that will save your bouquet is that when you turn your canvas to transparent, it won't really matter because you can't see it anymore.
Yeah, I changed mine to transparent. I'm just concerned when I drop my copy on that it's gonna be like hanging over the video.
You don't want it on top of the video, you want it like above it?
I want everything to fit within the video.
Oh, okay.
So I just gotta make sure that I format it to the video size and not the original dimensions.
Yeah, you're gonna have to experiment a little bit with it and keep previewing it and make sure that everything fits within that that framework.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's see. Trevor says, well, how would I go about doing that? Okay. So Trevor, did I answer your question a little earlier with that demo that we did? I felt like I did, like the solution was just to put in enough. Yeah, I just got to play around with it. Okay, good. All right, cool. So, all right, let me go back to the rest of you guys. So does anybody else have anything they want to share with us? Demos or graphics or animatics or anything else that we can look at?
I have some stuff in my folder, Greg. It's Latisse.
All right.
Nothing moving, but I have a Illustrator file and a hand-drawn bootleg storyboard.
Okay.
Black cat.
All right, so what should we look at?
The storyboard, that PDF, that's just something I drew up. And then that pasteboard is kind of like a bootleg more. So this is just some ideas I have on how I want to reveal all the information, to have these triangles like open up, I don't know, a mask or something, and then the video playing, and then the logo come in with the sale. And then I was thinking down at the bottom, making these like the weed pumpkin and the joint and all that, those be buttons, and you can either roll over them or click them to see what the special is.
Okay. Now, is your smoke going to be the video in the background?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, you gotta work.
Yeah, because we need that smoke the whole time, right?
Yeah, I need it the whole time, and then I need all this information to be able to sit on top. So then in the Illustrator file is kind of a little bit of how the ad will look at the end-ish. Yeah, that's the one. So it's, can you open it in AI?
Yeah.
Thanks. And then it's in layers. So layer 1 would be like the triangles opening, and then everything underneath layer 1 is the final. That's not mine. Okay, so if you just close layer 1.
Maybe I can activate the fonts.
Yeah, activate the fonts.
Yeah.
I hope they work, because they're my, I gotta turn them into outlines, right?
It worked.
Oh, hey.
All right,
Okay,
so
so can you just turn off the eyeball on the opening? Those are triangles.
you got it.
Thanks.
Okay, so this is the opening. The triangles are going to open up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's locked. Well, that shouldn't matter.
Oh,
Okay. So anyways, they'll like slide open, and then all these different things will come in. Like the black is the video.
right.
And then the logo on top. I still have to work on the cat eyes. And then, yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah, trick or treat style.
Oh, this is great. And a bud that's made out of a pumpkin.
Yeah, I made that. I took some buds and made a pumpkin. And then over here, this third, next to the joint, I'm going to have like a tincture bottle to represent all the concentrates. So like you would like roll over the bud pumpkin, and it would list the different strains, and then maybe roll over the joint, and it's like a pre-wrap, and then roll over the tincture, and it'd be like $10 off concentrates or whatever the sale is. But yeah, that's that.
Maybe you want to do something like put some eyes and a nose or something like it's
like a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. And I want to add some orange to the pumpkin, like in the leaves or something. I might want to remake the pumpkin. I'm not really happy with it. But that's that. That's all I got.
Well, it looks terrific. I mean, it looks so cool. I love the fonts are really nice. You're pushing a little bit as far as different font styles.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, like I probably wouldn't go beyond 3, which is what you have right now.
Yeah, I was wondering if the logo should just go ahead and match the trick or treat sale font.
Well, it might, except that I like it so much the way it is. I would say maybe consider stopping right here and just working with these 3 fonts if you can get away with it.
Okay.
Let's see. Now let me look at the Livia says, Leticia, I like it, like what you did with the fonts. Trevor says, I dig it. It has a great look to it. The pumpkin was a great idea.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, I wonder if the jack-o'-lantern should be smoking the joint.
Oh, snaps. So I was thinking how the orange triangles, because they open, like a jack-o'-lantern face could be the orange triangles. Like, like a face within those orange triangles. So it looks like a pumpkin face, but then it opens up and it reveals the ad. I don't know. It might be too much.
Oh no, that's a cool idea. That might take some time, but yeah, I see what you mean. Like what if the ad started out and it was a pumpkin and then it opened its mouth? You were basically like it was a pumpkin, and then it smiled, and then you zoomed inside of its mouth, and then you were in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something like that. I didn't want it to just be the ad. I wanted to reveal, I don't know, something with some animation.
Well, I would say get the meat of the ad done, and then you can put extra things like that on probably.
Okay.
Yeah, but it looks great. Let me see if I can steal your smoke and get that to work for me. Okay, so here's the smoke coming. All right, so show and finder. Where are you, smoke?
Oh, is that the .mov? Because
Yeah.
Okay. I used media encoder trying to mess with it for animate, but now I'm gonna do the component thing that you showed us.
Yeah, I don't think you need it with the component thing. Okay, so let's try it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my component and I'm just gonna change the source to your smoke. Okay, now what is going on? Oh, okay, so here's the deal. Okay, it doesn't like it doesn't like MOV because it's not a web video format. In other words, this has to play on a website, right?
Right.
So yes, this is where you would use media encoder to bring it to like MP4. So let's try it. Let's do it. So what we'll do is, I gotta delete whatever the hell this thing is. Delete, yes. Okay. So we'll take smoke, we'll put it in here. Okay, now we want to change smoke to an MP4 movie.
You know what? I did I don't know what I converted it to. I may have did it wrong.
Well, here we go. H.264. Well, H.264 would probably work, but MPEG 4.
Okay.
Okay, so this is going to go. It's going to go into the same folder, but it should be called an MP4 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we hit play, or we press the triangle button. You can see it doing it. Oh, it's converting it to M4V, which is some weirdo format. It's some Mac format.
I can drop in I converted it earlier to an MP4.
Okay. Yeah, well, let me see. I just have one question. If I convert it to H.264, I think it'll make an MP4 file.
Yeah, that's what I did earlier.
That's it.
But when it wasn't playing an anime, because I wasn't familiar with that whole component thing, I had panicked.
I don't believe
I was like, are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Okay, so now it's an MP4. Okay, so now we go back in here. We click on this little button. We find the MP4, which is our friend. We hit open. And we hit OK. And now...
Woohoo! Wait a minute.
Not seeing any smoke.
Are there play buttons at the bottom?
Well, no, I didn't. It should be autoplay, I think.
That's strange.
Yeah.
So my video is playing, but I don't have that code in there yet. So I don't know if it's going to play. I should finish it.
It says, mine says autoplay and controls, and it's not showing either of those. So I don't know what's up with your video. Let me make sure the video is okay. Oh yeah, there it is. The video definitely works. Okay, so let me try this again. Let me just let me go from scratch again. Let me bring my video component in here. Let's see, autoplay controls, that's all fine. And then let me grab this MP4 smoke final. Open, okay. Control, test movie and browser. I don't think I have anything. The only thing that I'm thinking is maybe my movie isn't long enough.
Oh yeah, that could be. Also, this is a random question, but when I was getting my video from
here it goes. I had to press the play button. For some reason, your movie didn't autoplay. So let me take the controls off. For some reason, that movie didn't autoplay. Let me see. Oh, well, let's see. We still have that action script in there. I wonder if that's affecting it adversely. Let me see that weirdo code we put in there. Let me see if I can remove all these frames. Okay, now it's just one frame long, but that should still play the movie. Let's see. No, it doesn't even play the damn movie. All right, let's go back. Let's make it long enough so we can see the whole movie. Okay, we'll undo my thing there. Undo. Come on. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna make my movie a ton longer. Okay, and now I'm gonna try control test movie. What the crap?
I know. Video drama. Maybe I need a new video.
Let's see. Video source smoke. Okay, there it is. Autoplay, no controls. The only thing that's weird is that we
The
have,
actions, maybe?
well, the only thing that's weird is that we have that code in there, which is the only thing that could be messing it up. I don't understand. Yeah. Let me take that code out and see what happens.
When I take the code out, it doesn't even play at all now.
I don't know.
That's crazy. All right, I'll have to play with it, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know why it decided to just be stupid right now.
Okay, I'll play with it. But I have another just last question. When we're getting videos, should we opt for like a lower quality? Because I was on Videasy, and you can search like 720, 1080, 4K. Does that matter?
Quality? Well, I mean,
because my quality is not really good, but I didn't know if a higher quality was going to jam me up like my project one with those photos.
Well, possibly. I mean, I would probably use a low to mid quality as opposed to high quality.
Okay.
Just because of the memory demands.
Gotcha.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so play with that because obviously we had some successes and some things aren't working now.
Okay,
all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so let's go to the class website, and there's this tutorial I wanted to do. Interactive design. So we're going to do this thing, create an animated infographic. So you got to click on that. And then we have to download these files, get files. And then you'll have a folder called animated infographic.zip. And you can open that up. And then there will be animated infographic illustrator and animated infographic video 1 to 4 and animated infographic video 5 is all in there. So let me open up, let me compress these other 2 folders. Wow, there's just so many things in here. It's kind of unbelievable. So that has an FLA, that has an FLA. And then this one says info 5. It's like every time I uncompress it, I get more compressed stuff. Okay, well now we have like 37 different uncompressed things in here. So I guess we'll watch the tutorial and see what the hell they want us to do. Okay, so, and then also there's an Adobe Illustrator file in there, which we should open up. Animated info, well, that's not it. That's the FLA. All right, hold on. Let's close all this stuff down. Let's go open the Illustrator file, which is here. Let's see. I'm going to click Activate Fonts. Maybe those fonts will be friendly and come to my computer from Typekit. Okay, it looks like it worked. All right, so if you open that Illustrator file in Illustrator, remember I was telling you that building things in Illustrator is a really good way to go for components you want to animate in Adobe Animate because they're both vector programs. And so the files you can literally just copy and paste files from Illustrator into Animate. But anyway, so let's say that you are a designer that works in Illustrator and you created this graphic and then you wanted to animate it. So this tutorial is kind of how to do that kind of thing. So let's see.
This is the first video in a series of 5 in which you will learn how to make this animated and interactive infographic with Adobe Animate and Adobe Illustrator CC. You'll learn how to make all these moving, rotating and interactive elements. But first, we'll take a look at the original Adobe Illustrator file. And when we've done that, we'll import it in Adobe Animate. The basic file you see here is an infographic that I designed for a Dutch energy company. It was originally created for print, but I've slightly adjusted the size and object placement to make it fit correctly in the interactive version. This version can be placed on websites, interactive magazines, and applications. The layer structure in this Illustrator document will be converted into Adobe Animate timeline layers, so it's important to set them up properly first. In this case, I've created 2 layers, one layer for all moving objects and one for all the background objects. Now I'm going to set up the Adobe Animate file. In the Animate start screen, you can best...
Okay, hold on a sec. I apologize, but whenever I watch these damn tutorials in Firefox, it removes my ability to stop and start the videos. So I have to, unfortunately, open this in Chrome. Otherwise, it just won't work. So let me go back and open this in Chrome. It'll just take 1 second. And then I'll go ahead and fast forward to where we were.
This is the first video in a series of the Illustrator and interactive elements. The basic file you see here is an interactive version. This version can be placed on websites. The layer structure in this Illustrator document will be converted into Adobe Animate timeline layers, so it's important to set them up properly first. In this case, I've created 2 layers, one layer for all moving objects and one for all the background objects.
Okay, so let's pause there. Let's look at our Illustrator file. And, you know, like he said, he's got 2 layers here. If you click on the eyeball for the background, you can see that that's all the background imagery. You can see that this one is all the top imagery, right? And then even if you twirl open this, you can see all the different layers that are all the different components in there, all the sub layers, I should say. Okay.
Now I'm going to set up the Adobe Animate file. In the Animate start screen, you can best choose Advanced and then HTML5 Canvas.
Okay, so now let's go over to Adobe Animate. I'm going to close this damn file because I don't need it. File close. Okay, so File, New. Advanced, HTML5 Canvas, and then we're going to go ahead and set the dimensions.
We can also set up the document size here. This has to be 900 by 500 pixels because that's exactly the size of our original Illustrator file.
Okay, so go in there and set it up to be 900 wide by 500 tall. He didn't mention anything about the frame rate, so we'll just leave it at that and hit create.
We can now easily import the Adobe Illustrator file in Animate. To do this, go to File, Import, and then Import to Stage. This is because we want to place the Illustrator file immediately on our stage. First,
okay, so that means you're going to need to know where your little folder is, this download folder here. So mine is, right now it's in my downloads, but I'm going to grab it and drag it onto my desktop so I can find it easily. So now you're going to go to Adobe Animate and go File, Import, Import to Stage. You're going to go wherever you save that folder. and you're going to click on the Adobe Illustrator file and hit open. Now, when you hit open, it should give you this choice right here, this screen right here, which allows you to decide how the layers are going to come in.
Select your file and then make sure Select All Layers is checked and click Import. You see the
Okay. So basically, you guys can just leave it as default. And what you'll notice is some different choices here. Select all layers is checked by default, so that gets all the layers that you have in your document. It places the objects at the original position. Notice you have different choices, like, you can import it all as a single bitmap image. It's converting all the layers to a single animate layer here. Let me see what his choice was. I'm going to go back on his a little bit.
make sure Select All Layers is checked and click in.
Yeah, now see, his says convert layers to animate layers. So let's see what happens if we change ours to that. Yeah, so in other words, he has two layers. One is background and one is foreground objects, right? So we have to change this drop down to animate layers. So what's going to happen is it's going to take every layer that he has, and he has two layers, and create two layers in Adobe Animate. So now if we hit import, sure enough, we get two layers. One is called objects, and that's the top items, and one is called background, and that's the bottom items. Now, what's beautiful about this, it means if you like working in a program like Adobe Illustrator, you can set your layers up exactly the way you want them in Illustrator, and then just import it directly into Animate like this. I'm gonna, to make it a little easier on myself, I'm gonna go under View. Let's see, and I'm gonna go, let's see, that's not what I want. I wanna click this drop-down menu here, and I wanna go Fit in Window. And that's gonna blow this thing up and make it, really easy to see.
Import. You see that all objects are placed now and can be selected separately. This means that we can animate them now. But before we do that, I first lock my background layer, because I don't want to move my background contents accidentally when I start animating. You can do this by clicking the background layer's lock button in the timeline panel.
Okay, so that's smart. We're gonna go up here, we're gonna click the lock column here in the background layer, and now we won't have to worry about moving that.
So, now you know how to import your Illustrator assets, we can start animating the first items in the next video.
Okay, how are we doing, everybody, at that point? Okay, cool. We'll go down here to the next video.
This is the second video in a series of 5 in which you will learn how to make this animated and interactive infographic with Adobe Animate and Adobe Illustrator CC. In the previous video, we've imported an Adobe Illustrator file into Adobe Animate. In this video, you'll make your first object move. We'll first start with this cloud. We're going to animate it in a continuing loop from the left to the right of the stage. To do this, it's very important to convert the cloud to a symbol first. Make sure you've selected the selection tool in the Tools panel. When you've done that, you can select the cloud on the stage, right-click and choose Convert to Symbol. I'll name the symbol Cloud and then click OK.
Okay. So first thing you might want to do, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit because I'm kind of close in here. Maybe I'll go to like 160 or something for my. Okay, good. Okay, first thing you probably want to do is click in the gray area around your image to deselect everything, so you don't have anything selected. Now click on the cloud. Right-click on it, or if you're on a Mac, Control-click on it, and do Convert to Symbol. Call this cloud and make sure that the type of clip it is type of symbol it is a movie clip. And then go ahead and click OK.
Now we've got a symbol, we can start animating it. Because I want to animate the cloud from the left to the right, I'll first move it to the start position, outside the stage. To make a continuing loop.
Okay, so in this case, I might want to zoom out even more. So I'm going to go down to like 120 or something. Okay. So click on your cloud, start to drag it to the left. And as soon as you start dragging it, hold down your shift key. And what that'll do is it'll drag it in a straight line over to the left side. Then let go of your mouse before you let go of the shift key.
You've got to go to the cloud symbol's own timeline. This is almost the same principle as the isolation mode in Adobe Illustrator. To go to this timeline, double-click on the cloud. When you've done that, you'll see the symbol's own timeline.
Okay, so when you create a symbol, if you want to make changes to that symbol or edit its timeline, you have to double-click on it, and that takes you into symbol isolation mode. So if you double-click on the cloud, you'll notice everything else is grayed out, and you have a new timeline up here, and this timeline is just for the cloud, right? You can also see that you're in the cloud itself, and then if you want to get back to the main movie, you have to click on this little arrow, which will take you back to what's called scene 1, right? But right now we're in the cloud, and what our goal is to make a looping animation where the cloud goes from the left to the right.
To make the symbol move, we've got to create a motion tween first. Right-click the cloud, and then create motion tween. Animate now asks to convert this cloud to a symbol again. We could have done this before, but actually it's not really wrong to do it now. So just click OK. Note.
Okay, so now we're going to do something a little different. We're used to using classic tweens because in web animation, classic tweens will always work, but motion tweens sometimes have issues. So, but we're going to go ahead and do the motion tween because that's what this guy did in his tutorial. So you want to right-click on the cloud. Oops, my apologies. Right-click on the cloud and click Create Motion Tween. Now, it says you need to convert it to a symbol first. And of course, Adobe Animate will do that for you. So you just hit OK. Now, what it does is it converts this little cloud. Now, just so you're not confused, when we had this cloud on the main animation, we turned it into a symbol called a movie clip, right? Then we clicked on that movie clip and went in a symbol edit mode. Right now, we're inside of the cloud movie clip. Now, in order to do an animation inside this movie clip, you still have to turn this cloud into a symbol so you can animate it inside the larger cloud movie clip. That can be a little confusing. You're like, wait, we have one movie clip, which is the cloud, and then inside the cloud, we have to turn the cloud again into a symbol? And the answer is yes. It's nesting. It's a symbol within inside of another symbol on the main stage. So now that we've turned this little graphic of a cloud into a symbol, and we've created what's called a motion tween, we can create our animation.
Note that the timeline has now been changed because Animate has added a motion tween to your timeline. This motion tween is an animation of 1 second, but nothing happens yet. Make sure your playhead is at the end of the motion tween, and now move the cloud to the right, outside the stage.
Okay, so now the nice thing about a motion tween, the difference between a motion tween and a classic tween. In a classic tween, you have to you have to have 2 keyframes. You put the object in its first position and then its second position further down the timeline. And then you click in between and do a motion tween or a classic tween, right? But in a motion tween, what happens is you just set the first keyframe and then you say it's a motion tween. And then you take your playback head and you move it to the end of that motion tween. And then wherever you move the cloud at this point, so click on the cloud, start to drag it to the right, and then hold down your shift key and move it all the way off the right side of your screen. What it does is it automatically drops the keyframe in there for you for whatever position you move it to. So now, over this course of 1 second, the cloud moves from one side of the screen to the other, thereby, being a cloud just kind of, swishing by or blowing by in the wind.
Animate has now made an animation. Press Enter to view it. As you can see, this is a very fast animation because it only takes 1 second. We can change this by making the motion tween a lot longer by dragging it all the way to 16 seconds. When you press
Okay, so now we want to make it 16 seconds long. That's a pretty long freaking animation. You might want to grab your little dot up here at the top and drag it to the left. Even when I bring it all the way over, I can only see 15 seconds. So what you're going to do is click the end of your motion tween here, put your mouse over it, and it'll become a double-headed arrow. Drag it down to at least 15 seconds, and then bring your scroll bar over, and then drag it the remainder of the time to the 16 seconds. So it'll be that little gray bar you see at 16, right? Okay, so now if we play the animation again, you'll see that it progresses at a much slower pace. And it'll be smoother than this. My computer's just being a little wonky right now. Okay.
Press Enter to view it again, you'll see it now takes 16 seconds to go from the left to the right. Click on scene 1 to go back to the main timeline, and you can now test this animation in the browser by going to Control, Test.
Okay, so once again, we are we're inside the cloud symbol right now. And to go back to your main timeline, click here where it says, you can either click on the word scene 1, or you can click on the arrow pointing left. And now you can test this out, Control Test Movie in browser. And of course, you see the cloud, floating across it.
This is the only way to see the animation loop. So, now you know how to animate something from the left to the right. We can start making rotations in the next video.
Now, one thing I noticed, one thing I noticed about his versus ours is ours goes in front of the text and his comes behind it. So let's see if we can figure that out.
How do I go back to the other timeline?
What?
How do I go back to the other timeline?
Click up in the top left corner. It should say scene 1, or you can click on that and it should take you back to scene 1.
Oh. Okay,
you see it? Okay. Now, what I think we need to do, all of the objects are on this same layer, right? And so what I think that this division of roles between network and the operator and energy supplier, I think both of those pieces of text are lower in the stacking order than the cloud.
You're right.
Now, if I shift click on both of those and go, let's see, modify, arrange, bring to front, and then I retest this.
Looks good.
Yeah, now the cloud is going behind that stuff. Okay. All right. All right, next video.
This is already the third video in a series of 5 in which you will learn how to make this animated and interactive infographic with Adobe Animate and Adobe Illustrator CC. In the previous videos, we first imported an Adobe Illustrator file into Adobe Animate. In the second video, we've animated this cloud. Now we'll animate the windmill and the 2 round arrows. The process of doing this is almost the same as our last animation, but you have to add one more thing. First of all, we have to convert the windmill blades to a symbol. So first select the blades, right-click, and then convert to symbol. I'll name the symbol windmill, and then click OK.
Okay, so click on your windmill, right click, convert to symbol, name it windmill. Now, by the way, the type will stay movie clip because it will always stay the last thing that you chose. And so we want it to be a movie clip because those are the most versatile symbols. They're the ones that, you know, are really easy to work with as far as creating your own timelines. Okay.
Now we've got a symbol, we can start rotating it. Just like our last animation, we want to make a continuing loop. So we've got to go to the cloud symbol's own timeline. To do this, double-click the blades first. You now see the symbol's own timeline.
Okay, so we're going to double-click on the windmill. And once again, we will be in the timeline for just the windmill and everything else will be grayed out.
To make the blades rotate, we've got to create a motion tween. Right-click the blades and then create motion tween. Animate.
Okay, so more motion tween action. Right-click the blades, create motion tween. It's going to give us that same error, which is going to say that it needs to be a symbol, and then it will happily convert it to us for it, and we'll go ahead and say okay. And once again, this is just like the cloud. It's a symbol within a symbol. If you want to do an animation within a symbol, you have to turn the first object into a symbol in that animation.
It now asks you to convert the blades to a symbol again. Just click OK to let Animate do this for you. The timeline has now been changed because Animate has added a motion tween of 1 second to your timeline. We only need to change one option in the Properties panel to make a rotation. Just go to the Rotation section and enter 1 in the Rotate field.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is, let's see, I got to close some things off here. Okay, now he's using an older version of Animate, which is always fun because we got to try and figure out what the what the latest version, where this shit is going to be in the latest version. So let's see.
Transform, go to the transform.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so transform. So, but rotate, this is just degrees, but this is not, I guess we could put 360 in there, but I'm looking to see if there's a rotate over here.
You can rotate from the modify tab, but at 90 degrees.
From the
Modify at the top.
No, we don't want to do that. Well, I want to see if I want to see if they still have this option over here for us to. Oh wait, here we go, right here, rotate. Okay, great, perfect. So rotate. So let's do clockwise, and then it automatically puts in the 1 for us. Okay.
Okay, so under frame.
Animate has now added the rotation. Press Enter to view it. I think the...
Okay, let's check this out. Press your enter button.
Ooh.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
The rotation is way too fast now, so I'll make the motion tween a bit longer by dragging it to 3 seconds.
Okay, let's make our motion tween longer. Grabby, 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 gabby, gabby, grabby to 3 seconds. Okay, and now you can grab this and take it back to the beginning. Hit your enter button, and now it's going a lot slower.
When you press Enter to view it again, you'll see it now takes 3 seconds to rotate the blades 1 time. Click on Scene 1 to go back to the main timeline. You can now test this animation in the browser by going to Control, Test.
Okay, so once again, you can either click on Scene 1 or this little arrow to go back to the main timeline. Control, Test Movie, and Browser. Okay, now we have the spinning windmill blade and the cloud.
Hey, Greg, I have a question.
You can also
Yes.
So why is he animating in the individual timelines as opposed to just doing them all on the main timeline?
Okay, because we have three kinds of graphic symbols, right? We have one which is just called a graphic. Like if I go in here, if I want to make a new symbol, I have three choices: a movie clip, a button, and a graphic, right? Now, a button, we all understand, is, you know, something that you click on that has different states. So you can make it look different. It can be different colors when you click on it, when you let go and stuff like that. So that's a unique symbol. A graphic symbol is just simply a graphic that you're going to have do something like move around or something. But a movie clip has its own unique timeline where you can put its own animation inside that symbol. All right. Now, what that means is you can have independent animations which are independent of the main timeline. All right. And that's exactly what we want to do here. If you consider the main timeline to be just this background and then all the images on top of it, if we want anything, you know, like spinning around in a loop, we have to make that its own movie clip symbol, make it spin around in the movie clip. And then when we place that movie clip on the stage, what it does is it spins around until it reaches the end of its timeline, and then it loops back and spins around some more. So it's like doing a continuous spin. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because otherwise, if we put it on the main timeline, it would have to abide by the timing of the main timeline. But by putting it in its own little mini timeline, which is a movie clip, we can have it be 1 second long and then just keep looping.
Okay, yeah, that answers my question. Thank you.
Okay.
also rotate the round arrows in the same way. When you're done, the animation looks like this. So, now that you know how to rotate items, we can animate items along a motion path in the next video.
Okay, now the next thing he asks us to do is rotate the arrows in the same way. So now we got to use everything we learned to rotate the arrows. So we're going to go back into Adobe Animate, and we're going to follow the same steps that we followed for that blade, right? So what we're going to do is first we're going to click on, there's these arrows right here that are kind of hidden behind the buildings. But if you click on them, you can select them, right? And then what you want to do is right click on them. And you want to convert it to a symbol. And let's just call this middle underscore arrow. And we'll make it a movie clip. And we'll hit OK. Now you'll see it pops up to the front, which is fine. You know, I don't have any problem with that. Now, in order to get inside this symbol, we have to double click on it. So go ahead and double click on the arrows. Okay, now you're in symbol edit mode. Now, what we want to do is we want to do exactly the same thing. We want to create a motion tween. So right click on this and do create motion tween. You're going to get that same error message. It says it needs to be turned into a symbol. So hit OK. And now we'll go over here, same thing we did before, to the properties. Under frame, where it says rotate, we'll do clockwise, and it will put the 1x in. Now we can almost guarantee that this is going to be too fast, but go ahead and hit your enter button to see it play. Yeah, so that's clearly too fast, right? So now grab the end of your timeline here, and let's take it down to, I don't know, let's try 5 seconds. I'm thinking I want it to be a different speed than the windmill, because if they all last 3 seconds, then you know, it's boring. Everything's moving at the same rate. So now let's see what that looks like. We'll go back to the beginning and hit your return. Yeah, you know what I think? I think we ought to go to 6 seconds. Let's go to 6. And now this is moving at half the speed of the windmill, and it looks pretty good. All right, that work for you guys? Okay, now we want to go back to the main movie and do this exact same process with the other arrow. So we're going to click here either on scene 1 or this left facing arrow. It takes us back to our thing here. Now, there is one issue we have here, which is the arrows now are in front of all this junk, right, on this layer. Now, if I remember correctly, I think his arrows, I think they're behind everything. So we have to do the same thing we did with the cloud, but in this case, we have to move it, I think, to the bottom of the layer stack. So with your arrows still selected, go under Modify, Arrange, and go Send to Back. And sure enough, it'll put the arrow behind all the other junk on that layer. And so now if we were to preview this, we'd see the arrows, you know, where they should be, which is behind everything. Okay. Now we have to do the same exact thing for this arrow over here on the far right. So let's do the same process. So first, click on the arrow on the far right. Second, right click on it and convert it to a symbol. Third, give it a name. So I'm going to call mine right_arrow. Then hit OK. All right, now to get into the movie clip symbol, we're going to double click on the arrow. And now we're going to convert this to a motion tween. So right click on it and do create motion tween. We're going to get that little error message again. So hit OK. So now it goes ahead and it creates the motion tween in the symbol for us. We're going to go over here to rotate, change it to clockwise, which will automatically put in the 1x. And then we're going to grab the end of the movie, the motion tween, and drag it all the way down to 6 seconds. Okay, so this is going to go at the same rate as the other one. Now we're going to click the scene 1 button to get back to scene 1. And we're going to go modify, arrange, send to back to push this behind all of the other junk on the stage. And then control test movie to check it out. Okay, is that working for you guys?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, let's keep going.
This is the 4th video in a series of 5 in which you will learn how to make this animated and interactive infographic with Adobe Animate and Adobe Illustrator CC. In the previous videos, we've animated some of the rotating and moving objects. Now, we'll animate these little arrows along a motion path. There's a very easy but quite hidden trick to do this. The basic steps are almost the same as in the previous videos, so let's go to Animate. First of all, we need this Illustrator path in the future. So I select it now and copy it with Command or Control-C and use it later.
Okay, so first thing we're going to do, make sure you're in your timeline here. Come down here and click on this bottom white pipe thing, and then just do Edit, Copy.
Now we'll first convert this arrow into a symbol. Select the arrow, right-click, and then click Convert to Symbol. I'll name this symbol Arrow 1.
Okay, now we're going to turn this arrow over here. You can click in the gray area to deselect everything. Click on the little blue arrow on the left, right-click on it, convert it to a symbol, name it Arrow 1, like this.
And click OK. Now that we've got a symbol, we've got to go to the cloud symbol's own timeline to animate it there. Double-click the arrow to do this. We are now in the symbol's own timeline. First, we make a basic motion tween, like we did in the second video when we animated the cloud. To do this, I first right-click on the arrow and then create motion tween.
Okay, so we're using a similar process to what we used before. We're going to double click on the arrow. Takes us into symbol edit mode. We're going to right click on the arrow and create a motion tween. We're going to hit OK on this little error message, and it creates a motion tween for us.
Animate now asks you to convert the arrow to a symbol again. Just click OK to let Animate do this for you. First, make sure your playhead is at the end of the motion tween, and then move the arrow to the right-hand side of the pipeline.
Okay, so now grab your playback head and drag it all the way down to the 1 second mark so it's at the end of the motion tween. Click on your arrow on the stage. You can hold down your shift key if you want after you start dragging it, and drag it all the way down to the right side so it's inside the pipe on the right side.
Let's test this animation by pressing Enter. The animation is now too fast, so I drag the end of the motion tween to 6 seconds.
Okay, now, of course, the arrow isn't going in the method that we want it to yet, but the timing is not right. So grab the end of the motion tween and drag it down to 6 seconds. You can always preview this animation by grabbing your playback head and dragging it to the beginning. Hit the enter button, and you'll see your arrow, you know, it just kind of goes like this from one side of the stage to the other.
I think that'll be long enough. I press Enter again, and I think the speed is fine now. Of course, the arrow is not moving along the path yet. What we're going to do now is swap this motion path with the path we've copied earlier. To do this, you must first select the motion path, and then all you have to do is paste. We have to move the path up a little to make it fit on the main path. So I first click on it and then move it to the right place.
Okay, hold
Press
on just a
Enter
sec.
now to test the animation.
Okay, so remember we copied that path earlier. So we've got it in our paste buffer, right? And so what you want to do is select the motion path by clicking on it. So that's that blue line, right? Click on that blue line so it's selected. Then just go edit, well, then just go Command V or Control V on your computer, depending whether it's a PC or Mac. Now what it should do is it should replace the existing motion path, which is a vector line, with the vector line that was the pipe. And now you should have this thing that you know, goes down. It goes a little too low though. So what we have to do is we have to move it up. So if you click on it, and you should be able to drag it straight up so that it drag it straight up until that little blue line, which is the motion path, is right in the center of the pipe. Now, if you're dragging it and it like moves off to the far right or far left, try holding down your shift key after you start dragging it to keep it in the same line.
As you can see, the arrow is not rotating in the right direction yet. The only thing we have to do to...
Okay, now after you've dragged it, you can test it out. You know, grab your playback head, drag it back to the beginning, hit your enter button. You should see the arrow following along the motion path, but it's not pointed in the right direction yet.
To make this happen is to select the motion tween and then check the Orient to Path option in the Properties panel.
Okay, so all we have to do is click on the motion tween, which is the blue line, and come over here to your properties and click this checkbox which says Orient to Path. Now, when you grab your playback head and you drag it back to the beginning and you hit your enter button, the little arrow should follow the path along the pipe. Okay?
As you can see, the arrow now moves nicely along the path. Click on scene 1 to go back to the main timeline. I've already repeated all steps on the other arrow, so when we test this animation in the browser by going to Control Test, we see the end result.
Okay, well, we got to do what he did, which is we got to do the same thing on the other arrow. Okay, so go back to scene 1, and we're going to repeat all the steps again for this other arrow. So first thing you do when you're back at scene 1 is click on the second pipe. So that would be the pipe that's above the first one. Once you have clicked on that pipe, do edit copy. So that's in the paste buffer, right? Now click in the gray area around your animation to deselect. Then click on this one remaining arrow over on the left-hand side. Right click on it and convert it to a symbol. Let's call this one arrow 2 and hit OK. Now you're going to double click on it to go into symbol edit mode.
Sorry I had to interrupt real quick, but would you mind helping me out real quick? Because I kind of lost my properties there for a moment.
Okay.
I'm still on the first pipe though.
Where exactly are you?
Let's see. I'm away at the part where I I pasted the motion path to.
Okay. So grab that motion path and drag it up so that it fits right into the middle of the blue or the white pipe.
Okay.
Okay. Now what you have to do, your arrow should be following that motion path, but it's not oriented correctly. So click on that path and come over here to your properties and click on the checkbox called orient to path.
All right. I'll get to the entrance.
Okay.
So. Okay. What do I need to do again?
Click on the motion path, that blue line, and then go over to the properties and click on the checkbox that says orient to path.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay, now that should be working. So now go back to scene 1.
Moment. Okay.
Okay, now click on this pipe here, this pipe, which is above the other one. Do edit copy.
Okay.
Okay, now right click on this little arrow over here and do convert to symbol.
Oh, this is where we're at right now?
This little arrow right here. Yeah. Right click and convert that to a symbol and call it arrow 2.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, now double click on the arrow to go into symbol edit mode.
Okay.
Okay, I believe this is where we left off. So now right click on the arrow and create a motion tween. When it gives you this error message, just hit OK. Now we know we want this motion tween to be at least 6 seconds long. So grab the end of the motion tween and drag it down to 6 seconds. Now, make sure your playback head is at the very end of the motion tween. Click on the arrow on the stage and drag it, start to drag it over to the right, and then hold your shift key down and drag it over so that it is now at the end of the top pipe. Okay, now if you grab your playback head and you drag it across the animation, you should see that arrow just animating straight across. Now, once you've got that, click on the motion tween, which is that blue line, and then simply go Command V to paste in your other pipe. Then grab that pipe with your, let's see, click on that pipe. Shoot, this is really hard to do. Okay, yeah, click off of the pipe and then click on it so you select the whole thing. And then drag it straight up until it goes right into the center. This is your motion path, I'm sorry. Drag it straight up until it goes right into the center of your pipe. Now, if you want to, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to push it up as well. Okay, so now when you grab your playback head and you drag it, the arrow should be going along that path. And all you need to do is click on the motion tween, the blue line, and come over here and click Orient to Path in your properties box. And now that arrow should be moving along the correct path as well. Okay, and then you can click your scene 1 to go back to scene 1, control test movie in browser. And of course, if you wanted the arrows to go at a different rates, you could move them. You could move one of the timeline motion tweens to be a little lower, a little less time, and then it would go slower than the other one. Okay, let's see if we can get this last video in.
So now you know how to move and rotate objects along a motion path. We can start creating interactive elements in the next video.
Now, one more thing we have to do here is once again, the stacking order is jacked up. In other words, if you watch these things, the arrows go in front of this little house here. See that? And they come out in front of this little blue thing over here, and they're supposed to go behind all that stuff. Now the easiest, and they also go in front of this flame and this other thing here too. So what we really need to do, the easiest thing to do in this case is to bring all that other stuff to the front and leave the arrows where they are. So let's experiment. Let's see if we can do that. Let's go back into Adobe Animate. Okay, what I would do is go back into Adobe Animate, go back to your timeline, click on this little flame here, and then hold your shift key down and click on the little plug, and then go modify, arrange, bring to front. Now then do the same thing with these items over here on the right. So click on this this blue, light blue thing down here, which is underneath the word producer. I'm not sure quite everything we need to click on. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe if we did this, maybe if we drag a marquee around everything here, except we don't want the arrows. So let me see if I can get everything except the arrow. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. I'm trying to get everything except for the arrows, and I'm not having any luck. Let me see what happens if I bring this to the front. Modify, arrange, bring to front. That doesn't work. Okay, I think I might know how to do it though. Just click on this blue, light blue area underneath this dome thing, but then hold down your shift key and click on the word producer as well. And then go modify, arrange, bring to front. Now let me test this out and see if we got that much working so far. Yeah, it looks like it. You can see that it's coming out from behind the light blue, and now it's going behind the plug and the flame. But now we have to do the same thing on the right side that we did on the left. We have to click on the blue area underneath the house, and then we have to hold our shift key down and click on the word consumer. And then we have to go modify, arrange, bring to front. Okay, and now we can test this out. Now it should look just like his, hopefully. Yep. Okay, let's see if we can get that last video in.
This is the 5th and last video in a series of 5 in which you will learn how to make this animated and interactive infographic with Adobe Animate and Adobe Illustrator CC. In the previous videos, we've animated all the rotating and moving objects, and this video shows you how to add interactivity to your document. I'll show you how to make these buttons and how to make them clickable. To keep this tutorial as simple as possible, I've created this new, more empty document to show you how interactivity works. I'll first test this document in the browser. To do this, I go to Control, Test. As you can see, this document contains a looping animation. The pop-up opens, closes again, and so on. So the first thing to do is to add a few stop actions to stop this animation.
Okay, now I'm not sure if he's given us access to that or not. Let me go into the library. Let's see, it might be a separate, I think it might be one of those separate files in that folder. So let me go to the desktop and let me go into, what was this called again? Animated info, interactive infographic, right. So now we've got something, yeah. Inside animated infographic underscore video 5, we've got something called O5 underscore interactivity FLA. Let's double click on that. And don't worry about the fonts. Okay. And it should open up this file. Now, if you don't see it, you might have to open up a couple of the archive files that came with the main file. I had to open like 3 or 4 archive files, and then I found this. Now, when we check this out, when we do Control Test Movie, it should be that looping animation that he showed us, right? Okay, did you guys find that? All right, cool. So let's go back to our video here.
This is the 5th and last video in a series of 5 in which you will learn how to make this animated and interactive infographic.
Sorry, I need to remember to go to Chrome. Okay, here we go.
Then we add some actions to the button so that it starts the animation when a user clicks on it. In Adobe Animate, I first double-click on the pop-up that I've already created before. You now see the pop-up animation, but we want to stop it in the first frame.
Okay, so what we want to do is go into Adobe Animate, go into your timeline. Let's see, pop-up animation. So what you have to do is, if you click on this second layer here, which is called pop-up, you should see this little square in the middle of your screen. Go ahead and double click on that, and that will launch the movie clip symbol, which is this pop-up animation. Okay.
That's why I now click on the first frame in the Actions layer that I've already created. Now go to Window Actions to open the Actions panel. We can add some code here with a very handy Actions wizard. Click on the Add Using Wizard button to do this. Now we have to tell Animate what to do at this position in the timeline. In this case, we want to stop the animation. So first scroll down and click on Stop.
Okay, so what we're going to do is click on frame 1 of the Actions layer. We're going to open our Actions window. You know, you can do Add Using Wizard, or even easier, click on the code snippets here. Open up your HTML5 canvas folder, open up timeline navigation, and double click stop at this frame, and it will drop in all the code you need.
Now click on this timeline, then next to go to the next step, and now on with this frame. Click on Finish and Add to add the code. The code has now been added to the first frame. You can also see this because there is a small A symbol in the first frame. I'll repeat this step for the 10th frame. The animation has to stop there again when we've clicked the button. So I'll select this frame, click on the Add Using Wizard button.
Okay, now to very easily add the same code to the 10th frame, just copy it go down here and click on the blank keyframe at frame 10, click in there and paste it in again.
Button, scroll down, click on stop. Now click on this timeline, then next, with this frame, and now click finish and add. All stop actions have been added now. Let's go back to scene 1 to add the actual interactivity.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to scene 1. So click on either scene 1 or the arrow that takes you back to the main scene.
Before we can add this interactivity, we have to name all symbol instances on the main timeline. We can do this by first clicking on the info button with the selection tool, then go to the properties panel and type info button in the instance name field.
Okay, now if we're going to start applying some script, we need to give everything a name. So first thing you're going to do, make sure you're back in scene 1. Click on this little I button here. And it looks like it's already been named info_button for us. So if you look up here in the top right properties panel, that's the name that we're supposed to give that.
Now select the pop-up instance. Go to the instance name field again and name it pop-up. We have to add the actual.
Okay, now that will probably be named for us as well. But if you click on the pop-up layer up here and then click on the little box, which is the pop-up. Now let's see that one. Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to click off of it on the stage and then click approximately where it was. It is already named pop-up, so we're good there with our instance names.
Interactivity to the first frame in the actions layer. So first click on this frame and then go back to the actions panel.
Okay, so now we're going to add some interactive code. So first thing you want to do is go up here and click on the very first frame of the actions layer. We want to open our actions window. Okay.
Now click on the Add Using Wizard button. Scroll down in the first menu and click on Play. We do this because we want to play the pop-up animation when we click on the info button.
Okay, now for this, I think we are going to use the wizard because then we'll be able to follow his exact advice. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Add Using Wizard. In this wizard, we're going to scroll down here until we see the word play, and we're going to click on the word play.
That's why we have to click pop-up in the next field. Now click Next.
Okay, so in other words, we want it to go ahead and play the pop-up. So in the field to the right, click on pop-up. You can see that it puts in some code, this pop-up play, then hit the next button. Okay.
Now we have to tell Animate what the trigger is to start the animation. This is a mouse click, so select on mouse click. And because we...
Okay, so next, over here on the left, click on mouse click. So that's what's going to trigger the event.
We click the info button, we have to select the info button in the next field.
So what is it that we're going to click? It's going to be the info button, which is going to start this off. So click on the word info button on the next field on the right.
Now click Finish and Add, and the code is now added to the first frame.
Okay, now click Finish and Add. And there's all the code to get this to work.
The interactivity should now work when we test this in the browser. Go to Control Test to do this.
Okay, let's test out the movie. So Control Test Movie in browser. Okay, so what happens is, first of all, the movie stops because we put a stop action in frame 1. Secondly, we told it that the info button is going to be the triggering event for the pop-up movie to play. So when we click on the info button, the pop-up comes up, right? And then after the pop-up comes up, the movie stops at frame 10. Now, when you click on the info button again, the button, the pop-up goes away.
I'll click the button and it works. So, together with all the previous videos, I think you have all the tools now to make a stunning interactive infographic yourself.
Okay, and that should be it. Now, if you want to, you can save what you've done. You can save it in that folder. You can call it, my animated infographic if you want. And then keep this as a reference in case you want to do any of this stuff in your animations. You want to, have something follow a path, a motion path, or you want to rotate something in a circle. All this kind of stuff is pretty easy to do, or even do this kind of a pop-up like he did. All right, now let's see. James, you wanted to present your idea for the Halloween ad project?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's in my folder. So
All right. Let me bring it up.
it's in my project 2 folder.
Okay. Let's see. So I gotta go drive. Okay, let me type in James. Oh, come on. Why aren't you doing anything for me today? I'm in Drive, right? So I type in James. Okay, there we go. James Donaldson. This is which folder is it in, James? Is it
It's dar252. Wait a minute. Yeah, just click on my name here.
okay? Here I am. I've got all your folders,
Oh jeez.
but I don't see a DAR. Oh, there it go. There it is.
There it is. Yeah, it's in project 2.
Okay.
Okay, so start off with the idea here first in PDF file. Yeah, that one. Yeah, what I'm trying to do here is my Japanese Halloween T-shirt design. So, whatever Halloween item I can think of, I'll translate it to Japanese, and I'll make into a design in shape of that item. Now it's for all ages, as you can see. And I posted my prices here for youth sizes, adult sizes, and adult sizes 2XL and up. Okay, yeah. So, and yeah, in each T-shirt we'll have a little index card saying what all the translations are, what all the characters are, so that way you better understand. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now if we were to get out of that real quick, then it'll be like just okay. Let's go with like the example here, the PNG file here, the example here. No, not that. Well, not that one. That one there. This is the quality that you would expect here. This is a shirt design that I made like a couple of years, like a few semesters ago. It's for my beginner computer graphic class. I actually did make it. Actually, no, excuse me. No, it was Adobe Illustrator class that I made the T-shirt. I actually did make the T-shirt. So only me and the advisor of the digital gaming simulation department has the same shirt like that. Okay, so now if we would just get out that. Yeah, let's just go here. Yeah, this is candy corn in Japanese. It's in katakana right here.
I love it.
Yep, thank you. Okay, now if we were to get out that and open up the other PDF file, it'll tell you exactly what it is here. So
Wow.
because the first two characters kia here is combination of ki and ya, and it also says like which extensions there are to each character, like D and Ko because it extends the sound of the vowels. Yeah, I'm still trying to learn Japanese myself, and I have some help from my pen pal up from Japan. So, yeah.
Well, it looks great. I think it's a very clever idea to use the Japanese characters and to do things that are, you know, for Halloween, like the candy corn. So nice idea, and I like the yellow and the orange that you had on that as well, because it evokes the candy corn.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea.
I like it.
Yeah, look forward to seeing what you'll do with that, James.
Yeah, I'm thinking about having like more designs. Go do like jack-o'-lantern nest.
Nice.
Maybe the ghost too.
Yeah, yeah, all the classic Halloween images.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, now, and James, you can have some extra time to work on this because I think you got started on this a little later than everybody else.
Yeah.
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 So you can have extra time to work on this project and finish it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys. Any other questions from you for today?
I finished my storyboard for the second tab. It's the same file. I updated.
I'll link it. Let's see.
It's in the bottom.
Let's see. Oh wow. Okay,
That's for the second tab where I show the content of the kit.
Okay, so this shows two people, and then this is the flyer with the ideas of how to make holes in your t-shirt to make it sexier. Look, it says Halloween text, a Halloween t-shirt. Let's be realistic, you were home alone. Animated text, a flyer with ideas on how to cut and make holes in your t-shirt to make it sexier. Animated text, a jack-in-the-box so you can scare yourself. A doorbell ringtone and a bag of assorted candy so you can fake that someone is doing trick-or-treating at your door. This is sad because it's so true. It's like, a first place ribbon so you can brag of winning the costume contest. One streaming code. If the party's boring, you can go to your room and watch one of these movies, Hocus Pocus, Beetlejuice, Halloween, or one of the Saw franchise. Note, code valid for only 24 hours after redeemed. Okay, a disposable orange mask if you still feel unsafe from the virus alone in your home. An animated arrow urging you to order now and pointing to the buy now button. And then animated text, if you deserve more, check our premium add-ons. And then animated arrow pointing to the premium add-ons tab. Okay, that looks great. This looks super fun. And then that's it, right?
Yes.
That's what we got so far?
Yes.
Yeah, very nice. Okay.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, see what you can get done for Thursday. And we'll take a look at your stuff. Remember that this project is due a week from Thursday. So if you get some stuff done for this Thursday, we can look at it and give you some feedback on it. Okay? All right. Have a good couple days, and I'll see you guys on Thursday.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.